Everybody, it's Chris again. I wanted to give you a quick tour of one of my favorite weekend bags and how I pack it for a weekend trip to the mountains. We're leaving in a couple hours, and this is exactly what I'm going to bring. This is the Evergoods 35-liter Transit Duffel. Prior to getting this duffel, I kind of used a two backpack system. I'd have my everyday carry backpack that had all my work gear, my laptop and iPad, normal things that I bring with me to and from the office every day. And then I pack a separate backpack with my toiletries and my clothes, any adventure gear I might need. And you know, it worked fine. You throw two on your shoulders, you throw it in the car. It was great. It just wasn't the most elegant solution. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger. And this was actually Evergoods' collaboration with Carryology and their Griffin series in a wax canvas material. This was tan when I at least listed on the website. It's much more of a dark brown, almost has some hints of green to it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, do I regret spending the extra $150 for this material? That money is long gone, so who cares? But it is a beautiful feel. I just love that texture of wax canvas. I've had that on other bags from Filson in the past. But it's gonna age great. Patina's great with little marks on it. This is how I pack mine out. I think you can get quite a bit more in here, but let's get right into it. So on the side, Evergoods gives you a laptop or iPad pouch here. I typically have this empty. I might throw one of the kids' iPads in here, but in general, my personal tech stays in my everyday carry backpack. I find that it's really efficient for me just to keep that backpack loaded with everything I need for work or a trip like this, so that on Monday morning, I'm not transferring things from my weekend bag back into that. I can just grab it, go to work, do whatever I might need to do at a coffee shop or wherever I'm working for the day and have it. But yeah, for the kids, I could easily put a big 13-inch iPad Pro in here. A 14-inch MacBook will fit. The 16 does not fit, I've tried that. But plenty of space there. The other side is, for me, again, relatively unloaded for this trip. I've got a spare Canon charger here for the batteries that are actually in this camera in R5. I think these are the LP6 batteries or whatever, but I've got a million of these chargers. One of these always lives in this bag so that whenever we're on a trip, I'm not without camera batteries. Evergoods gives you a key leash on this side. I have our spare key for my wife's Ford Expedition Max in there. That car is always with us on weekend trips. We'll usually have two cars because I might have to join them, if I'm doing work somewhere. But I keep that in there as a spare in case somehow that her key gets lost. We're not having to drive back home to retrieve it. There's two other pouches in here. This looks very much like their backpacks do on the front quick access pouch. I have it just a pen in here, but you can fit plenty. This pocket has its own volume. And one thing I really like about this bag is that Evergoods puts some foam material, I think it's 2 millimeters, it feels pretty thick, on both the sides and bottom. So anything you put in here is well protected. And as you'll see, I typically have a camera in here. And so, it's not a camera bag by any means, but it protects whatever I have just fine. So from the top down, I guess my favorite things about the bag are just the look. It has a gorgeous sort of cube sort of shape here. It reminds me of one of those old physician bags from back in the day, or even an army jump bag. And I think if you were able to pick one of these up in the OD green solution dyed material, it would look very much like one of those jump bags. But the shape of it means that it packs super easy. It fits in the car, in the truck, and you can pack around it without any issue. I also really like the structure that it has on its own. So I've had Filson bags in the past and they make a great duffel bag, but one, they're super heavy for the relative volume, and two, they don't really have much structure, so they just kind of fall down in a sort of floppy pieces of canvas. And that makes it tough to load them. It makes it tough to see what's inside or get things out. And when I say tough, I mean it's definitely a first world problem, but it's not the best carry experience. Whereas the Evergoods 35-liter Transit Duffel has its own shape. And even though it's full now, I'll show you when it's empty, it retains this shape. So I really like that. From the top down, from carrying it, the carry handles are super comfortable. These are a tubular nylon. They're so soft in your hand. I'd say I carry it by these two grab handles about 90% of the time, because for the most part, I'm just going from the house to the car, from the car to wherever we are. Tonight, we're heading up to our cabin in the mountains, and I can just grab it, throw it in. They also do give you this same tubular material on the shoulder strap. This would be a great way to carry it if you have a more extended journey, if you're in an airport. It would be very comfortable. I have never taken this through the airport. I usually prefer a roller bag, but I think it would excel in that if you're trying to travel light and not have to check a bag. Opening it up, you've got dual zippers on top with, at least with the Carryology version, it has leather zipper pulls. I think that on the normal version, it's going to be their typical nylon zipper pulls. Opening it up, the bag splays open nice and wide, so it's easy to see what you have. This version has a bright high-vis orange interior. The other versions, the other colors have sometimes a gray, just depends, but the high-vis orange, it's not really my cup of tea, but it's what I got in the collaboration, so I'm going with it. But first off, I'll have a camera in here all the time. This is not the camera I carry. That's what I'm filming with right now, and that's a Canon R5 with a 28-70 2.0 L lens on it. It's a pretty bulky package, but it fits in here great. This is my old 5D Mark II. This is like 12 or 13 years old at this point. I probably have 400,000 exposures on this, or shutters. So put that off to the side. We're heading into the mountains, so obviously this loadout would be different depending on where we're going, but we're going up to Mount Baker tonight. It's gonna be pretty cold, so I've got an extra Arc'teryx down jacket. I can't remember what model this is, but super comfortable, packs really small. It even fits in a little bag about a quarter the size of this. I'll also bring a shell because this is Washington and it's going to rain. That's just how it is. So I've got an Arc'teryx shell here. I think this might be the Zeta. This is just a lightweight one, you know, for hiking or for walking around. I usually will have a Beta AR that's up at the cabin right now. So I don't have that with me. I've got a toiletry bag. This is a nomadic toiletry bag. Plain simple toothbrush, deodorant, things like that. Fits in here perfectly. Take that out. And then a packing cube with my clothes for the weekend. Just some sweats, t-shirts, underwear, things like that. Nothing major. This is mostly what I'll take on a 3 to 5 day trip. I think I am a chronic overpacker, so if there's, you know, an occasion for something more dressed up, I might need another packing cube. But this is sufficient for my recreational, you know, workout type of gear. I also have a pair of running shoes that I'll bring with me that aren't in here for obvious reasons. They're all dirty, but that'll just go on the side. Got a water bottle that can fit in here easily. I do love the internal organization on this bag. For the most part, it's one large cavernous compartment, but on either of the long sides, you have a pretty big pouch, which is perfect for a water bottle. You could put a cap too. This actually doesn't go in here with me. This is in my everyday carry backpack, but that would fit in here just fine. Or one of the cap ones would go just great too. I'll typically just throw a charger in here. Usually I'll have a couple USB-C chargers for my stuff and my kids' things. My wife usually forgets one, so I bring a backpack for her as well. So that's in there. And then you also get a small internal pocket. What I always have in here when I'm traveling is a watch. So for the most part, I bring with me 2 watches. I bring my Garmin Fenix 8, which I'm using to track all my workouts, or if I'm just doing more aggressive things around that I don't want to damage the watch that I'm currently wearing. My current everyday carry watch is this Tudor. So I'll always have a mechanical watch and the Garmin with me. Whatever one I'm not wearing will be in this inside pouch. I feel like it's well protected. It's somewhat hidden. I'm not really worried about theft on this and the places I go, but you know, that's kind of the layout. So that's how I use this bag. I think it's extremely versatile for 3, 5, even 7-day trips, depending on how much you pack and how many other things you bring. You know, cameras take up a lot of room, but if you don't have anything like that, you could certainly put a lot more clothing, a pair of shoes in here, whatever you needed, and you can travel in style. The bag does have these buckles on the side that you could disconnect the shoulder strap, and it'll create a much more compact package. I've never used that. I always have the shoulder strap attached, but it's there for you as an option. One thing I really appreciate about Evergoods bags is that while they're solidly built and they're built to last, they're not overbuilt. I think too many companies try to build bomb-proof products, and what ends up happening is you get a product that, yeah, while it will last forever, is just, it's too heavy, it's too cumbersome to use. I've had bags in the past where the zippers are heavy-duty, beefy metals because they never want them to break, but what ends up happening is it just scratches items as you put it in. You know, it scratches your laptop, it scratches a camera, and that's no fun. So these are high quality YKK zippers, but they're soft enough that they're not going to abrade anything that goes in. The material is durable, but it's not overly bulky where the bag weighs 15 pounds empty. I mean, it's still a good 2.5, 3 pounds. I'll put the specs on the screen. It's just the perfect amount of durability in a bag that's gonna get well used and loved over a couple decades. Just like all the other Evergoods products that I own, what I really appreciate is the subtlety in design. There's no large logo across the front screaming some brand name. All they have is this patch, or usually it's an empty Velcro spot. This one has the Carryology Griffin patch. I'm probably gonna get crucified in the comments because I don't know what that is. Certainly looks cool on the bag, but I really appreciate that from a subtle sort of gray man, flying under the radar aesthetic. These bags just look great. Don't quote me on it, but I think these go for around $200. Sometimes I'll have sales, so definitely check it out. I think that if you want to step up your weekend carry game, this is the perfect way to do it. So those are my thoughts on the Evergoods 35-liter Transit Duffel. I think this is a fantastic bag. If you take a lot of weekend trips, which is something my family and I do, it's the perfect travel bag. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe for more content. Just wanna review and talk about things that I use on a daily basis that I love, things that I'm doing. Hopefully it's of some interest to you, and take care.